Good morning, folks. This is the Cliff Notes this will be lecture number 10 on probation and community supervision for April 6th. Oddly enough, I just recorded the Cliff Notes for lecture 11. I thought I'd taught it already. Forgive me. Time and space is genuinely beginning to collapse. But anyway, what I want you guys to get out of this lecture is the conceptualization of community supervision. Some people don't deserve to be in prison, and some people can be monitored in the community. Generally speaking, there's about 5 million people in the United States under probation and parole supervision. The difference between the two is that probation is before a prison sentence. Probation, by definition, is a period of proving. You are proving your worthiness in the community, proving that you could be there. But keep in mind that every probation sentence has a prison sentence dangling over your head in case you violate. There's such thing as a violation of probation, where if you don't follow the rules of probation, you go to jail. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And usually that comes in the form of a conditions of release. Even though you're not necessarily being released from jail, but the conditions for staying in the community are some are universal and some are pretty strange. The universal ones tend to be a person tends to have a curfew. A person usually has to remain drug and alcohol free. Usually they have to be attending a job or schooling and just doing the right thing. And it's funny because there's some people that would probably look at conditions of release and be like, yeah, I do that stuff anyway. But you're not in prison and you probably won't ever get in trouble in your life. You know, like the conditions of release are there to teach you to be a good boy or a good girl. Added to those conditions, the weirder ones tend to be sometimes they want to limit how you dress. In other words, if you dress in gang colors, you're not allowed to wear those gang colors. We'll limit the geographical locations that you have access to. You know, sometimes you can't cross state lines. Sometimes you can't associate with certain people. You follow those rules and you will be able to, serve your probation sentence. If you don't follow those rules, you violate, you go to jail. So, probation officers have very interesting powers, in that they are allowed to enter people's homes, their probationers' homes, without the need of a warrant. You could just walk right in at any time of the day, because if you're doing something wrong, if you're violating those conditions, they want to catch you in the act. So it's about 4 million people in the United States on probation, because there's certain laws that don't require you to go to prison. So I want you to pay attention to that, the scope. If you could look at like the caseload that New York City probation officers have, that's a good example. Also, John Augustus being an important name. John Augustus, the father of probation, he was the first to kind of create a model for probation by bailing out people who did minor offenses, being drunk in public, being vagrant, etc. He felt like they didn't deserve to go to prison. And so he was the first probation officer in a sense. And then Boston, Massachusetts became the first municipality to create a separate department under the police department to do probation work. So generally speaking, this is a short lecture. But, pay attention to the discussion questions, the case assignments, and I'll see you guys next week, which the lecture for next week's on parole. I've already done the Cliff Notes for it, so you're going to see me wearing the same shirt. But otherwise, if you have any questions, you guys could ask away. All right, take care.